Hey everyone, it's Brooke and I'm here today to do my February birthday book haul. So there's 18 books. I'm going to do it all in one video. There's not going to be much discussion about each book. Just diving in. So the first two books came from Mercedes and her Mothbox service. So you've seen these around BookTube, and you can search for unboxings and get more information about each of these books. So I'm just going to mention them here. The first one is Sufficient Grace by Amy Espeseth. It's so pretty. And then the second one was The Handsworth Times by Sharon Dugal. So I hope to read at least one of those in March. I got 2 books from Book of the Month Club. My first selection was Pachinko by Minjin Lee. I'm currently reading it. This is a multi-generational family saga, and it's about a Korean family who have to immigrate into Japan, and it takes a look at their lives over most of the 20th century. I've heard lots of good things about that one, and based on like word of mouth, I've heard that The Animators by Kyla Rae Whitaker is really good. I think it focuses on a female friendship and 2 ladies who grow up to be animators, so there's some art involved. I'm really trying not to sneeze. Real time here, folks. That's what happens when you don't edit. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. I got 2 books in translation. The first one is Samantha Schweblin's Fever Dream. It's such a tiny little book. This is translated first off by Megan McDowell, who's just doing so much translation work these days. This, I think, is like it's blurred by Helen Phillips. And you guys know I love The Beautiful Bureaucrat by Helen Phillips. And I feel like this is maybe in the same vein of books as being weird and creepy and eerie and strange and a little bit fucked up. And I want to say that this takes place in a kind of rural hospital setting where a woman is in the hospital and there's this boy sitting at her bedside and they're telling each other stories. And I don't know their connection. I don't think they're related though. So it's short. And I think this is on my March TBR, maybe. And then the second book in translation I have is from Europa, and it is Aura Zlonen's. I tried to say her name correctly. Zlonen. She's Mexican. I did my best. I tried. I've listened to it. And I still feel like I just can't do it completely correctly. My mouth doesn't form the Z-S-H combination sound very well. But this is the Gringo Champion. So she was 19 when she wrote this. Oh, it was translated by Andrea Rosenberg. She's 19 when she wrote this. She's 21 now. This has been quite a sensation in Latin America, and if you guys, I read a really long article on this book, and it talked at length about how a lot of Mexican literature does not get translated and brought into the world, and that makes no sense that it's not translated into English and at least put into the US and Canada, considering we're all like next door besties, right? No, we're not, and that's part of the reason why it's not, because they don't translate Mexican literature into English and try to sell it in America because they know that Americans are so biased against Mexicans that who would buy it? And that's really sad. But this book made it through, and I've heard that her use of words and language and slang and dialect is amazing. And I'm worried that some of that will be lost in the translation, but I have also read that Andrea Rosenberg's work translating this is phenomenal. And she did the absolute best she could trying to bring across the wordplay and the intelligence of Aura's, I'm going to bypass her last name, her original text. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's a pretty straightforward narrative, just of a boy crossing into the U.S. He starts out working at a bookshop, and then he ends up falling in love with a woman and becoming a boxer. That's all I know. In the same kind of vein, I picked up a book by Luis Alberto Urrea, who wrote The Devil's Highway, which was the first book I read in 2017, and I loved his writing so much that I wanted to try his fiction. So this is Into the Beautiful North, and it is about a girl who I think she's 19, yes, and she works at a taco stand in her Mexican hometown, and her father immigrated to the U.S. a while ago, and she watches, I think, the Magnificent Seven and decides she wants to follow in his footsteps and immigrate herself. So she sets about doing that, but she looks around her hometown and she sees that there's not a lot of men left in her village. They've all sort of left too, and she doesn't want to leave, you know, the people of her town unattended or unprotected. So she sets out to find her own band of Magnificent Seven to protect her hometown, and also, you know, how she, I guess, her life on both sides of the border, really. So that sounds fantastic. I picked up Idaho by Emily Ruskovich, which I know rumblings about it. I think it's kind of a slow psychological novel. I think the man in this is his second marriage. I think he's losing his memory, and I think something really terrible happened to his first wife and his children. Don't know more than that. Don't want to know more than that. And then this book I'm a little worried about because Mercedes did not like it. But it's pretty. And that is A Separation by Katie Kitamura, who I don't know where I was going with that, but it's very pretty. And this is about a separated couple. He goes missing and she has to kind of go search for him in Greece. And I've heard really positive things, and then I've heard really negative things. I can sit down and read it though in one go. We'll see where I fall on the spectrum. I only got one short story collection, and that is Of This New World by Allegra Hyde. This is published by University of Iowa Press. It's won multiple awards. It's beautiful, and I think it thematically kind of explores the idea of paradise and utopia. Looking forward to it. Super short. The only nonfiction I got is proof that in some other alternate timeline, I am an astrophysicist, which was literally on the list of things I thought about becoming when I went to college. But there was too much math. Anyway, this is The Black Hole Blues and Other Songs from Outer Space by Jana Levin. She is an astrophysicist, and she's a professor of physics and astronomy at Barnard at Columbia. So a super smart lady, and she's an amazing writer. She's won multiple writing awards. And I've read the first couple of pages, and it was so great. I had to pick this up. So this is about black holes and the scientists who science black holes. I don't know more than that. Again, that's kind of the theme. Look how pretty, though. So pretty. And then I'm going to shift into like a part 2 of this haul, which is my sort of more genre-y, even some YA picks that are going to be my palette cleansers and just when I need a break. Because sometimes, right now, with the way everything is, I just need a break. The first one is a YA novel that I've heard good things about, so I think it might be fun to dip into, and that's Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This is a heist novel. And I'm also going to do a video. I'm going to read a little bit more YA than I normally do this year, so I'm going to do a video talking about that later, but that might be fun. I hope it's fun. I picked up Amberlow by Laura Elena Donnelly, who looks like the most awesome person in the world. This is like a spy caper thriller, I think, with maybe some science fiction-y aspects to it. Not entirely sure, but it does. I think the main couple in this is a gay couple, so it's LGBTQIA plus storytelling. So that's great, and it's beautiful. Who doesn't want to read a book that looks like that? Because I loved Signal to Noise by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, I picked up her next book, which is very genre, and that is Certain Dark Things. This is about vampires in Mexico, and I think it kind of meshes up like the kind of vampiric myths of the indigenous peoples of Mexico and sort of westernized myths of vampires, and I'm into that. I think this is the first in an adult fantasy series. I'm not sure. I think she normally writes YA, but I've heard it called adult. This is Queen of the Blood, book 1 of the Queens of Rinthia by Sarah Beth Durst. And I think this is about a world where there are evil spirits and they want to kill humans, and the queen is the only one who can save the humans, and she's training a bunch of ladies to be her heir. That's all I know. That's all I know. And then I picked up The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. The UK cover is amazing, and not that this cover isn't pretty. It is, like the soft lighting and everything. It's a pretty landscape, and it's got kind of a magical feel to it, and it's snowing. It's lovely, but the UK cover wins, and so knowing what the UK cover looks like, this one just can't rise above. So this book, I think, is just based on like a Russian fairy tale or a Russian folklore myth, something. And everyone I know who's read it has liked it, so I'm going to read it too. And then finally, the last is the only other YA I bought, and that is Truth Witch by Sarah Denard. And I have a couple friends in real life who really like this, so I'm going to read it. It's about a girl, I guess, who can see the truth in lies. That's it. That is my February book haul. I will see you guys next video. Bye.